What's a tough pill that everyone should swallow at some point? Just because you spent a long time making a mistake, being with the wrong partner, hanging out with toxic friends, working at the wrong job, taking the wrong courses in college, etc. doesn't mean you should keep doing it. Damn, did I need to read this? I've been making the same mistake since 2012. I hope this week I finally build up the nerve to say no and stop making that mistake. On one hand, I'll feel terrible about myself, but on the other hand, I'll possibly be able to focus on what I really want in life. You can do it. The internet supports you. Being happy long term isn't about doing whatever you feel at any given moment. Sometimes you have to make a conscious, serious effort over a period of days, weeks, even months or years, to form good habits and increase your quality of life, in order to have a positive disposition instead of intermittent periods of joy with a general negative disposition. A big thing I'm noticing in the self-care movement. Yes, treat yourself to a movie and chocolate now and then, but eating like crap and not leaving the house will catch up with you eventually. I learned the hard way that healthy lifestyle and empathy for future me is self-care. Your last sentence really speaks to me. I try to live by a rule. Be kind to your future self. Do I want to do cardio? No, but I don't want to die of heart disease. Do I want to go to the store tonight? No, but I know I will be mad at myself tomorrow if I don't do it. Future me thanks past me daily. Some of your problems are your own fault and won't get better until you actively do something about it. Yup, and sometimes you made mistakes you can't fix, and there's no one to blame but yourself. This is the hardest pill to swallow. Took me years to come to terms with something I deeply regret doing. It doesn't matter how compatible you are with someone sexually or how attractive they might be, that's not enough to sustain a healthy and happy relationship. Eventually physical attraction will fade for everyone as they age, but you do see those older couples who still are in love and have active sex lives, so sexuality must go beyond the purely physical. Nope. Been together 48 years, and if anything physical attraction has intensified, though with up and down periods, of course. Though I agree sexuality goes beyond the purely physical. You are not immune to propaganda and many of the things you grew up believing to be true about your country, or other countries, or groups of people, or political ideologies, or history, may be lies or misrepresentations. Terrifies me to think that I'd probably have been a Nazi or Slavia winner or bloodthirsty warlord had I been born in the right/wrong conditions. Material conditions play a big role in what people believe, for better or worse. Critical thinking is how to cut through the bullcrap. Question everything. There are a lot of people you might be compatible with in terms of relationships, but there's no perfect one, and only out there waiting for you. You need to find someone that's close enough and make them the one and only on your own. And that you will both need to work hard to make it work out in the end, maybe even the beginning. I think this should be more accepted by people, to be honest. It may start out as butterflies and they can never do anything wrong, but that period may be short for some couples and that can also be okay. Depending on past relationship experience, it may be important for one or both people to hash out issues with the other early on as a way to determine, is this even possibly going to work? If a deal breaker personality trait presents early and the person doesn't want to change or feels like they don't need to change it, it's important to know that at month 3 rather than year 3. Give them good faith opportunities to work on it. If you are a smart kid in a small town, you aren't as smart as you think you are. This will come as a big pill to swallow if you get a scholarship or make it into some sort of academic program where the rest of your classmates are smart kids too. To add to this, being smart is no substitute for working hard. When you get into top tier crap, it's the work ethic, not the intellect, that will determine the real standouts. That said, you can work harder than anyone else at something, but never get where the person with more talent can get to. Yes, Kobe Bryant was considered one of the hardest workers in basketball, but there are hundreds, thousands of kids who put in just as much into it as he did, but they might be too short, too slow, too weak. There is just something that holds them back. Just because two people disagree strongly on a given topic does not mean the truth is found in the middle. Oftentimes one person or both are just flat out wrong. Related, facts are not opinions, and any opinion based upon incorrect facts is not a valid opinion. So many people tout the virtues of compromise and moderation, but sometimes someone is just right and further debated worthless. Not just sometimes, but most of the time. Many opinions about issues are formed from one's personal background, values, framework through which they see the world, and only as a distant afterthought on the observable evidence. What is very uncomfortable to recognize is that many people have no interest at all in what the right answer is. They want the right answer for them. What confirms their existing suspicions or notions, jives with their other views, and, most critically, doesn't overly clash with the views of their primary social circle. This isn't exactly news, but when put simply, a lot of people take great offense to it. You are not special. You will not make some giant technological leap. You will not be a historical figure. You will be average and normal and uninteresting. You will die and be forgotten within 80 years. You have to be okay with that. If you spend your whole life trying to make some cosmic impact, you will miss making the impact your friends and family deserve. Be kind and caring. The people with statues made of them are almost all horrible human beings for whom history has been revised to paint them the good guy. This one is the real deal. We grow up being told we are special by our parents, and it's just unkind and makes no sense. We are special to a few people, but overall, you are more than likely to be average. Always strive to do better, but you are going to have to live with the idea that there will almost always be someone smarter, better, taller, stronger, a better basketball player, a faster runner, a better driver, etc. Even if you were the tallest person, there's always a stronger person. You have to be okay with not winning, and not winning a hell of a lot. You shouldn't give up on achievements, but you should be able to deal with the fact that you may well fall short. You'll end up being a lot happier when you can forgive yourself for not being 100% a one awesome. I really felt like I was way above average for intelligence my whole life, and I would be this amazing laboratory wearing super scientist. I know for a fact I'm very intelligent and have used that to my advantage my whole life, but the effects were so marginal, mayo. People don't get just how smart you need to be that person. I work a good job, have a lot of money put away, and bought a house early, but I'm not retiring at 25 with $20 million like I thought I would. The difference between school and life. School teaches you lessons, then gives you a test. Life gives you a test and you learn the lessons. Also, don't expect school to prepare you for the life. Unless you are really lucky, school will only give you absolute basics and a ton of useless trivia. There are many things that are not taught in all schools, but they should be. Things like keeping a budget, paying taxes, keeping your sanity, first aid, knowing how to help friends struggling with depression, how to cope with addiction. Those are things you may, but very likely will not learn in school. Our current way of life is what is destroying the world, and we don't even really think about it. The whole cycle of work, home, sleep, our eating and shopping habits, just everything about our daily lives. We're at a point where we take so much for granted that we have lost sight how much resources it all really takes. For us to really ensure the earth stays habitable for us, we need to change so much about our society at a fundamental level. Yeah, we are so far removed from the production of things it makes it impossible to see the real impact of buying a fun little trinket at the dollar store and then tossing it when we get bored. We consume way too much. I'm just as guilty. I'm trying to cut back. At the risk of going full edgelord here, I think part of the cause is exactly what you said: work, home, sleep. There's no time for connection. We buy and buy to try to find purpose and fill the void left by constantly having meaningless obligations to attend to. People have a lot more power than they think, and it's the idea that they are helpless that makes them so. Case in point, when millions of people think their vote doesn't matter, they don't vote, and it actually changes the outcome. Even at a personal level, most, not all, but most, situations that people feel like they have no control over, they actually do have the power to change. Your first love probably isn't going to be your true love. When I got my first girlfriend, at 19, I remember thinking, I'm so damn lucky. The first girl I get with is the girl I'm going to be with for the rest of my life. We are completely perfect for each other. I'm never going to not be with her. She broke up with me about 6 months later. The big problem was, she was a little older than me, 23, and had been dating/having sex since she was 13. I had absolutely zero experience, was basically acting like a 14-year-old would when they first had a girlfriend, because I had no idea what was going on. She'd had multiple boyfriends, and even been engaged, and had a better idea of how to conduct herself in a relationship. The experience gap is what drove us apart, in my opinion. When I knew the relationship was disintegrating, I started buying her really expensive stuff she wanted, thinking that'd save the relationship. If I buy her this $200 jacket she wants, she'll realize how much she loves me. I remember her roommate warning me, that isn't going to work. Stop buying her stuff thinking it'll fix things. I didn't listen, and the roommate was right. It didn't work. We are destroying the ecosystem far faster than people want to admit. It's actually scary at this point. I'm still rather young, still in college, so when I heard about global warming in the past, I'm like, okay, we all as a collective will work to reduce emissions, waste, etc. to save our future selves, right? Well, my understanding of humanity was certainly incorrect. The average person, in my life at least, maybe there are more eco-conscious people than I think, don't ever stop to think about the impact their actions have on the environment. I wish people would take even the smallest of steps, such as reusable bags at the grocery store, to reduce plastic and paper waste. It's not a great inconvenience, it's not much either, but at least you are doing something. Trust me, I don't have the smallest carbon footprint either, but if there's an alternative, I'll try to take it. Someone mentioned earlier in the thread about the power of individuals and how a lot of people feel like they have no impact on the world. But that thinking is part of the reason we are here. It's up to us as individuals to speak with our words, actions, and even wallets to create the change we want to see. One person making a change is better than zero. That's what I tell myself. Every time this comes up, I say the same thing. Sometimes the assholes win/get rich and famous. I was in an online writing group with people from all over the USA. One of them sent a query, got an agent, and became an overpass millionaire with book deal, movie deal, etc. Was the book great? No, not really, but it hit a nerve, and was the right place/right time sort of thing. The person is set for life and beloved by the millions who weren't in a writing group with this unpleasant and kinda prejudiced person. Were the rest of us good writers? Yes, but none of us got rich/famous. Most of us didn't even get book deals or agents. And we probably won't, since the odds are incredibly against us. Having to accept that this person is now on a level that I will never be on really sticks in micro or in ways that I have to work at to ignore. A good example is the movie Don't Think Twice. It's about an improv group where one person becomes famous and it sort of asks why. Why does it happen for some people and not others? It really resonated with me. COVID response, or lack thereof, wasn't Trump's fault. It was the state level government's fault. Lockdowns, mask requirements, business closures and such ultimately fell to the states. The states had access to the same information the president did. Voting in state elections impacts your day-to-day life way more than who you pick for president. While I don't fully disagree with this, it's worth noting here's the leader of this country, and him downplaying the virus as a whole is definitely at least partly responsible for the lax attitude a large portion of the country has regarding it. When times are tough, people look to their leaders for advice, and his advice has been to essentially ignore everything medical professionals are telling us. 4 years of 95% negative articles on Trump. I've said this before. I'm pretty sure if Trump came out and said the virus was deadly and everyone should be worried in February, the media news headlines would be something like, Trump attempting to cause mass panic over virus CNN. Trump attempting to delay election over deadly virus MSNBC. Seasonal flu causes, Trump to cower to China Fox. Don't trust Trump, the virus isn't as bad as he says, experts say The Hill. Trump saying the virus is deadly is wrong. Here's why Vice. Life gets confused with the universe. The universe may never have a meaning. Life in that sense itself doesn't grant you a meaning to follow, because you are life, and so you must make the meaning. Find the meaning. You already know deep down what you want it to be. Do it. Unshackle yourself as best you can from society norms and expectations that try to deny you salvation. For me, life is many things. Life is fantasy. Fantasy isn't fantasy. Fantasy exists because of life, and so there is nothing wrong with losing yourself in it. Just make sure to step back and maintain a healthy lifestyle and work while you're at it. Dogs as well. Dogs are my life's blessing. They grew to accompany us on this journey, and I firmly believe I will see the ones that left me again someday. Bless those creatures of love who look at us with such joy. I'm still finding more ways to impart meaning to this world. I'm hoping I go with satisfaction in the end. Tie your loose ends as best you can.